For over 60 years, Willie Nelson has been more than a musician. He's a landmark on the American cultural landscape, a steadfast, braided icon whose voice is as familiar as a childhood memory. The man is a living legend, the red-headed stranger, who somehow became everyone's friend. His anthem, On the Road Again, wasn't just a hit song. It was his mission statement, a promise that no matter what, Willie would be out there, guitar in hand, connecting with the people. He's outlasted genres, trends, and even the taxman. He just seemed completely and utterly unstoppable. But at 91 years old, the seemingly invincible force of nature faced a battle that threatened to do what nothing else could: silence his voice forever. A series of devastating health scares, culminating in a frightening episode in the summer of 2024, forced him off the road. The man who was always on the road was suddenly at a dead stop, on strict doctor's orders to rest, leaving millions of fans to wonder if they would ever see him on stage again. The silence was deafening. This is the story of how close we came to losing a legend, and the incredible, almost unbelievable resilience that led to a comeback that's leaving audiences speechless. To really get the fear that gripped the music world in 2024, you have to understand the sheer scale of Willie Nelson's legacy. He's not just a country singer, he's the country singer, a foundational pillar of the genre who simultaneously broke all of its rules. Born during the Great Depression in Abbott, Texas, his music was forged in the hardship and grit of that era. His songwriting is the stuff of legend. He penned Crazy for Patsy Cline, a song so perfect and emotionally raw that it became a standard, a benchmark for all other Torch songs. He wrote Funny How Time Slips Away, Hello Walls, and countless other hits that gave voice to the quiet heartbreak and deep thoughts of everyday life. But Willie was never content just writing for others. He had this unique way of singing, a behind-the-beat conversational style that felt both effortless and incredibly complex. It was a voice that held the dust of Texas highways and the wisdom of a long life, even when he was still a young man. This distinct style, paired with his virtuosic and unconventional playing on his battered Martin N20 guitar, known to the world as Trigger, set him apart. Trigger is as much a part of the legend as Willie himself, a roadmap of his journey, etched into its worn spruce top, bearing the signatures of friends and fellow musicians. It's a testament to a life lived in music. In the 1970s, he became a core figure in the outlaw country movement. Fed up with the slick, polished sound of Nashville, Willie, alongside friends like Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, and Johnny Cash, forged a new path. They took creative control, making music that was grittier, more personal, and more real. Albums like Shotgun Willie and the game-changing concept album Red-Headed Stranger weren't just successful. They were transformative. They redefined what country music could be, broadening its appeal and influencing generations of artists, from country traditionalists to rock and roll rebels. His persona is as iconic as his music. The long braids, the bandana, the ever-present, gentle smile. He's instantly recognizable around the globe. Yet his influence goes way beyond music. He co-founded Farm Aid in 1985 with Neil Young and John Mellencamp, an annual concert that has raised tens of millions of dollars to support America's family farmers. This wasn't some celebrity vanity project. It was a deeply felt commitment, born from his own roots, a way of giving back. His activism for the legalization of marijuana has been both decades ahead of its time and infused with his classic good humor and common sense. For his fans, the connection is personal. Seeing Willie Nelson live is a rite of passage. His concerts are like community gatherings, celebrations of music and life that transcend age, background, and politics. He built a feeling of family, not just with his actual family who often perform with him, but with his audience. The promise of On the Road Again was a pact he made with them. For decades, he kept that promise with a grueling tour schedule that would exhaust musicians a third his age, playing an estimated 150 to 200 shows a year. He lived on his tour bus, the famous Honeysuckle Rose, finding his home on the highways of America. This relentless dedication is precisely why the events of his 91st year felt so jarring. The unstoppable force had, for the first time, met an object it seemingly couldn't move. The frailties of the human body. While the crisis of 2024 brought Willie's health into sharp focus, the truth is, the red-headed stranger had been quietly battling his body for decades. The whispers of his mortality have been a recurring, if often downplayed, theme in his later career. These weren't sudden collapses, but a slow creep of ailments that would have sidelined a lesser man long ago. The most significant war has been with his lungs. This battle has deep roots going back to his youth. Willie has been honest about his history with smoking. "I started smoking cedar bark, went from that to cigarettes to whatever, and that almost killed me," he once admitted. For years he smoked, 2 to 3 packs a day, a habit that took a heavy toll. The first major public sign of trouble came in 1981, when his lung collapsed while swimming in Hawaii. He was rushed to a hospital, forcing shows to be canceled and giving his fans their first real scare. It was a stark reminder that even an icon wasn't invincible. Over the following years, he was plagued by recurring bouts of pneumonia. Each time was a serious health event, forcing him off the road. With each cancellation, a wave of concern would ripple through his fan base. But Willie, ever the outlaw, would always bounce back, strap on trigger, and hit the road again. He made a huge lifestyle change by quitting cigarettes, a decision he credits with saving his life. He famously quipped that he switched to marijuana to protect his health, a move that only cemented his outlaw image. "I wouldn't be alive. It saved my life, really," he said, reflecting on trading alcohol and tobacco for cannabis. However, the damage from decades of smoking was already done. In the early 2010s, he began speaking publicly about his struggles with emphysema, a chronic lung condition that makes breathing difficult. By 2012, the diagnosis became a more prominent part of his story as breathing problems grew more persistent. This wasn't just a passing illness, it was a permanent, degenerative condition. Imagine being a singer, your breath being the very instrument of your art, and feeling that instrument slowly fail you. He also dealt with other physical issues. In 2004, he had surgery for carpal tunnel syndrome, a condition caused by the very thing that made him famous. Decades of relentlessly playing his guitar. For a guitarist as unique as Willie, this was a profound threat. Yet he recovered and kept playing. These health issues created a cottage industry of rumors. For years, every cough or canceled show would ignite speculation and, tragically, frequent death hoaxes. Social media would periodically explode with false reports of his passing, forcing his team to reassure the public that Willie was, in fact, still not dead. He even poked fun at it with his 2017 song Still Not Dead, where he humorously recounts reading his own obituaries. But behind the jokes, a serious fight was underway. By 2019, his breathing had become so challenging that he made another major concession. He largely gave up smoking marijuana. "I have abused my lungs quite a bit in the past, so breathing is a little more difficult these days and I have to be careful," he told a San Antonio news station. He even underwent a stem cell operation in 2015 to try and improve his lung function. These were the actions of a fighter, a man doing everything in his power to keep his promise to his fans. Each early scare was a chapter in a long war, setting the stage for the climactic battle that would come in his 91st year. The late 2010s marked a real shift in Willie's health battle. The occasional scare began to merge into a chronic, undeniable reality. The diagnoses of emphysema and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, were no longer just footnotes. They were central to his daily life. To put it simply, think of healthy lungs as new elastic balloons. COPD and emphysema are like those balloons losing their spring, making it harder and harder to breathe. For a singer, it's a uniquely cruel diagnosis. The very act of singing becomes a struggle. This struggle became more and more public. Throughout 2017, 2018, and 2019, concert cancellations due to breathing problems became more frequent. In August 2019, he abruptly ended a show and canceled the rest of his tour, a significant and worrying move. His publicist cited a breathing problem, and Willie himself later confirmed it was serious. He told a reporter, "I'm having a little breathing problem." It was a classic Willie understatement, but the concern among his fans was real. This period was also marked by a fierce determination. Willie has never been one to surrender. He is, after all, a 5th-degree black belt in Gangkwon Yusul. He leaned into that discipline, continuing to practice martial arts to maintain his strength. He was making it clear he wouldn't be defined by his ailments. He was adapting and conserving his energy so he could keep doing what he loved most. When asked about retirement, his response was always the same. He had no plans to stop. "Music is what I do," he told one publication, "and retiring is something that I don't even want to think about." His family became an even more crucial part of his support system. His wife, Annie D'Angelo, became his fiercest protector. His sons, Lucas and Micah B. The public reaction was immense. Social media flooded with messages of love and concern. Was this finally it? Had the years of battling emphysema and COPD, combined with the sheer weight of 91 years, finally caught up? Fans wondered if they had missed their last chance to see him live. The silence from his camp, aside from brief cancellation notices, only fueled the speculation. Tabloid reports from the time captured the public's fears, with one unnamed friend quoted as saying, "His body aches and gives him pain, but he's determined to brave through it and keep on performing even if it kills him, which it just might do." The weight of this period cannot be overstated. Willie Nelson feels like a permanent fixture in the American story. The idea of that story continuing without him felt wrong. For his fans and family, the summer of 2024 was a time of intense worry, a time when it truly felt like the final curtain was about to fall. Willie Nelson's journey is a powerful story of resilience and the unbreakable bond between an artist and his fans. If you're a fan of Willie's incredible spirit and the music he's given the world, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more stories of legendary lives and unforgettable comebacks. For a man who has outsung, outplayed, and outlasted just about everyone, a doctor's order to rest wasn't a stop sign. It was a pit stop. While the world worried, Willie Nelson did what he's always done. He fought. The period after the tour cancellations wasn't about surrender, but about quiet, determined recovery. Central to this was his family. His wife of over 3 decades, Annie D'Angelo, was the bedrock. Willie has called her his pet rattler, a testament to her fierce loyalty. In one interview, he described her as his lover, my wife, nurse, doctor, and bodyguard. This was never more true than during this scary time. When Willie had a serious bout with COVID-19 in 2022, Annie turned their home into a makeshift hospital. She brought that same devotion to his recovery in 2024, ensuring he got the care and space he needed to heal. His children, Lucas and Micah, were also pillars of strength. Their ability to step in and carry the musical torch was a profound source of pride and comfort for their father. In his book, Willie wrote movingly about family. "The older I get, the more I realize it's never too early to start appreciating the people in your life." During his recovery, he was surrounded by that love, and then there was Willie's own unbreakable spirit. This is a man who has faced down the IRS and seen countless music trends come and go. His outlook, a unique blend of Zen philosophy, cowboy, pragmatism, and a wicked sense of humor, was his greatest weapon. He has often joked about his own mortality, but underlying the humor is a deep appreciation for the present moment. "I don't feel bad. I don't hurt anywhere. I don't have any reason to worry about dying," he said around his 91st birthday, "but I don't know anybody who's lived forever." This acceptance allowed him to focus on what he needed to do to get back to what he loved. Even in rest, his mind wasn't idle. His creativity is a constant. This period of forced quiet was likely filled with what has always sustained him: writing music. The man who wrote classics on cocktail napkins was not about to let a health scare stop the flow of ideas. While his body rested, his legendary mind was likely composing the next chapter. The world saw a legend on the ropes, but behind the scenes, Willie Nelson was quietly and methodically preparing to get back in the ring. After weeks of tense silence, the news fans had been desperately hoping for finally arrived. On July 4, 2024, A date synonymous with American celebration, Willie Nelson walked back onto the stage. His return at his annual 4th of July picnic in Camden, New Jersey, was nothing short of triumphant. Videos from that night show him walking out with his son Lucas to a thunderous, sustained ovation from a crowd overcome with relief and joy. He was back. The crisis had passed. He finished the 2024 tour, his performances filled with a new sense of poignancy. But the real statement, the definitive proof that the red-headed stranger was truly back, came with the announcement of his 2025 tour schedule. It wasn't a tentative, scaled-back run. It was an extensive, ambitious tour with dozens of dates. There are shows scheduled from Florida in February, through the South in April, and all across the country for another round of the Outlaw Music Festival in the summer and fall. This wasn't a farewell tour. This was a declaration. At 92 years, old Willie Nelson was hitting the road with the vigor of a man half his age. The comeback performances have been described as something truly special. Seeing him walk onto the stage now carries the weight of his recent struggle and the power of his survival. He performs seated, a concession to his age, with Trigger resting comfortably in his lap like an old friend. His voice, already a landscape of emotion, now carries an extra layer of gravitas. When he sings the opening lines of On the Road Again, the lyric, "The life I love is making music with my friends," feels less like a catchy chorus and more like a profound statement of fact, a reason for living he had fought so hard to preserve. The set lists are a masterful blend of the timeless and the new. He delivers the classics, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys, and the heart-wrenching Always on My Mind. But there's also new material, like songs from his new album The Border, proving his creative well is far from dry. The tour is also a testament to the love he commands from his peers. The 2025 Outlaw Music Festival features an incredible lineup, with him, including Bob Dylan, Sheryl Crow, and John Mellencamp. These aren't just opening acts, they are fellow legends, coming together to honor a true master. Willie's return is more than a medical recovery. It's a story about the power of purpose. He once said, "I'm enjoying the singing, I think it's good for me." It's a great energy exchange out there, and I look forward to it every time. That energy exchange is what fuels him. It's the medicine no doctor can prescribe. His triumphant return to the stage is the ultimate proof that for Willie Nelson, being on the road again isn't just a song. It's the essence of his life. The story of Willie Nelson at 91 is a lesson in the face of human fragility. In the summer of 2024, we all watched and worried as one of our most beloved icons was silenced by health issues. The man who seemed to defy time was suddenly confronted by its unforgiving nature, and for a moment, it felt like the music might stop. But what we saw wasn't an end. It was a testament to a spirit forged in Texas grit and tempered by a lifetime of challenges. His battle with emphysema and COPD is a stark reminder of the physical hurdles he faces. Yet what defines Willie Nelson isn't his struggle but his response to it. Supported by the fierce love of his wife Annie and his entire family, he faced down fear and uncertainty with the quiet dignity that has defined his entire life. His comeback to the stage is more than just a tour, it's a profound act of resilience. Each note he plays on Trigger, each lyric he sings is a victory. He isn't just performing, he's proving that a life filled with purpose can overcome the most daunting obstacles. He isn't just a survivor, he is a thriver, a creator who, even in the twilight of his life, continues to make art and connect with his audience. The red-headed stranger, the outlaw, the poet, the activist is still here, still on the road again, leaving a trail of inspiration and moving audiences to tears, not of sorrow, but of pure joy. What is your favorite Willie Nelson song or memory? Share it with us in the comments below. We'd love to read it. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the lives of music's greatest legends.